Some of you are saying, I will say I've been overrun in the past few days, past week, with a lot of people saying, Governor, please don't go to phase 3. It isn't safe. People aren't wearing masks. A lot from retailers saying, I want my businesses to survive, but look at this busy Main Street. No one has a mask on. We're afraid. And then an equal measure of people saying, hurry up, let's get on with it. So my promise to you is to be extremely fact-based, not emotional, look at the facts as they are on the ground, and be prepared to be flexible. Also, we're in good shape. We've invested massively in our testing and contact tracing, and so we're going to rely on that now. And I'm going to be back up here in the days and weeks ahead with new ideas around enforcement and testing. How do we better use, we have massive capacity to test. How do we best use that to screen folks who come here for vacation? How do we increase our enforcement smartly to encourage compliance? So what I'm saying to you is, I do feel it is safe to enter phase 3. I'm confident of it. And also, we're going to continue to change our response in the days and weeks ahead because the virus is changing and the experience is changing. And that's what we're going to have to do. Constantly change and adapt, just as we have. Having said that, a few months ago, we laid out 4 data points that we watch closely, metrics, hurdles that we have to clear before we move from one phase to the next. It was exactly 4 weeks ago that we moved into phase 2. And I'd like, please, to put up on the screen these 4 metrics, because I want to take you through exactly how we made this decision and why I feel so comfortable moving into phase 3. So you see in the slide in front of you, we have 4 triggers. We have to get a check mark in each category before we move into another phase. Number 1, we said we had to see less than 70% of hospital beds filled with COVID patients. Today, as of now, we have less than half of that. We're below 20%. And really importantly and excellently, our hospitalizations have been on a steady decline for a month. So that should give you confidence. We're ready for phase 3. Second, we said we needed to see consistently 30 or fewer new hospitalizations each day, and we've been consistently below 15 each day. Third, we said we needed to see our rate of spread, which is sometimes called the R0, the RT, infection rate, R value. We said it had to be 1.1 or lower. As a reminder, 2 months ago, the R in Rhode Island was 4. That meant each person was infecting 4 others. Today, it's around 0.6, less than 1. And in fact, the R, we checked it all weekend, and the R values continue to decline since we started reopening. Finally, we said we wanted to see hospitalizations doubling no quicker than every month. And as I said, hospitalizations have continued to decline, so obviously we're not seeing a doubling at all. So we've 4 check marks, clean bill of health, safe to move to phase 3. I do want to say this. We developed those 4 indicators at a time when our testing capacity wasn't nearly what it is now. And those are all mostly lagging indicators. They're also certain indicators. If someone's in a hospital bed, you know they're in the hospital bed. But hospitalization obviously is a lagging indicator. A leading indicator would be how many people are getting tested positive. And when we come up with these criteria, we weren't testing enough people to feel that we could reliably use the number of cases as a good indicator. We may change that now that our testing is so prevalent. So I may be back in a week or so to say that we're going to add a 5th trigger on these slides that we're going to continuously track as it relates to the number of cases. Because that's an early warning sign that we might be getting into trouble. Obviously, we don't want to wait until our hospitalizations are doubling, because that means we're already in trouble. So I wanted to flag that today. Okay. I would say the other thing I'm going to be back out with this week, next week, is more guidance on how we're going to be approaching enforcement, compliance, and public awareness campaigns. It is crystal clear now. We know a lot more now than we did 2-3 months ago. It is crystal clear now that social distancing and mask wearing really works. I believe the doctor is going to talk about this, but I think we can say confidently that we saw no surge or increase on account of the large outdoor protests of a few weeks ago. And we believe that's mainly because there was very high compliance with mask wearing, and the Department of Health volunteers and state employees ourselves passed out thousands of masks. We need to make sure, it's clear now, the virus is here, it hasn't abated, it is still deadly, and if you don't follow the rules, we will get into trouble. But if you do follow the rules, practice social distancing, a lot of testing, mask wearing, and staying home if you're sick, then we are going to continue to be able to go forward, open the economy, send the kids back to school in the fall, and move forward. But if we don't, if now, in July and in August, we throw caution to the wind, get together in big, large group gatherings, close together, no mask wearing, go to work when we don't feel well, then I don't know if we can open school in the fall. I don't know if everyone can start to go back to work. In fact, we probably won't. So I would simply say to you, I'm calling on everyone's sense of individual responsibility. Do the right thing. Wearing a mask says, I care about you. Washing your hands constantly says, I care about the people in my life and that I work with. I've talked to many employers who've had, mini outbreaks or a few people, and they can all be traced to one person who went to work sick, fever and the sniffles. Not going to work when you're sick says, I care about my business. So it's individual responsibility and shared responsibility. If we do it, we're going to get through this, and we will not have a setback. And if we don't, we will have a setback.